business. Because they can't do more than, they're fixed in by law. They can't make more than like 4 to 5% profit.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, states basically regulate the insurance agencies, which is why when the Republicans, we want to make it portable across state lines. Well, it's a states' rights issue, folks. The federal government cannot order it. But they will not, the Democrats won't even say it. But, what else we got? Okay, this is one. If we learned anything over the past 2 years, we're going to spend our way to prosperity. We offer a plan to stop out of control spending and reduce the size of the government. Well, probably nobody's seen the plan. We stop spending and don't raise taxes.
Well, you know, part of this is, actually this is the full text that we have right now.
Yeah, most people have never.
This is their pledge to America, so this is kind of like their guidelines.
Yeah.
From which everything else is coming from.
Like they said that basically if you roll back government spending, we're going to save $100 billion in the first year. And Obama's spending, okay, Obama and the Democrats plan to spend $1.7 trillion after the election, which is more money than they spent before the election. And they said, well, the Republicans can't stop them because you got 3 pissed off Republican senators that are running in write-in campaigns because they so desperately want to hang on to seats that they were thrown out of by the American people that voted for them. So you think that they're going to help stop Obama's spending?
No.
Plus they count Susan Collins and Olympia Snowe on the ranks of spending. So you've got 5 Republican votes for any spending issue that Obama wants. And the Democrats know that are basically being thrown out. We don't have anything to go to, so we want to kiss Obama's rear end. And he'll give us jobs for spending $1 trillion and $1.7 trillion.
Yeah, so that's what you can expect.
They're going to, I mean...
In our lame duck Congress in November.
I'm going to tell you, Bill O'Reilly, he was on the kick. This man is too intelligent. He couldn't possibly double down. Well, he doubled down. He had to double down because the Republicans forced him to do it. But he can't double down again. Well, he's moved further than the left than I thought he could, but I admire him for standing up for his principles. Basically, if the President of the United States would come into Bill O'Reilly's office and say, my butt needs to be scratched, there would be a stampede over at Bill O'Reilly's office with him and the people that work for him to scratch the President's rear end. I mean, I listen to them, folks. They always have an excuse for anything that Obama's doing. And Republicans, we're going to spend $1.7 trillion. We're going to cut $100 billion out of it. That's like, you know, adding another quarter inch of water to my tea. It doesn't change the size of the tea any. You know, or taking a grain of sand out of the hourglass. But they offered a plan and repeal. They plan to repeal and replace the government takeover healthcare. Well, the problem is other than Nancy Pelosi and a few others, I don't hear any Democrats that don't have the same idea. Except they don't call it repeal it, and they've got what they want to do is fix it. Because I listened to one Democrat after another.
Just get rid of it.
They said that this was not what anyone wanted. No one wanted what you got. All they did was piss off the American people who have seen, well, we weren't supposed to have higher insurance rates. Well, until the whole thing kicks into place, they're allowed by law for the next 3 years to gouge everybody. Because
since they're all doing it.
Yeah, and because Obama, here's the trick. Obama added he added the kitchen sink to everything on the policies. The policies are owned by the American people. They're not owned by fat cats living in Nob Hill or Homing Hills. They're owned by
you and me.
And your mutual funds, your
those
retirement funds, your pension plans.
Yeah.
They're all called safe investments. And because they're scared to death that Obama is going to wipe them out, they're basically raising higher rates so that people will have a cushion if the insurance companies are folded, which they think under Obama. So I cannot find, even Nancy Pelosi, well, we must make changes when we come back to fix some of the problems we didn't foresee, which everybody under the sun knew was going to happen.
Well, there's always problems they don't foresee. But, it's kind of a blanket excuse, so it works, right?
But you're told. I mean, we told people a year ago about it. I mean, okay, we'll put it this way. Glenn Beck is nothing more than a stooge for Barack Obama. You think that any president would allow somebody like Glenn Beck to be on the air? People like that get fired when they piss off presidents. Glenn Beck is a stooge the same way as Fox News is. The mainstream media is going after Obama right now. They think he's an idiot. They think he's incompetent. They basically, even the people that get thrilled up their legs, don't like him anymore. They think
Except O'Reilly still does.
Yeah, Bill O'Reilly. Well, because the people at Fox
and
News,
Juan Williams.
and Juan Williams, but the people people at Fox are the bad cops in order to rally the Democrats because they don't have the mainstream press kissing the bomb. They're disappointed. This was the guy who was going to bring peace to the country. They trumped up that Nobel Peace Prize and he immediately, sends troops to Afghanistan. Which
I know. Can you believe that one?
Anybody with a brain. I told you the troops were there to pull people out. That's the amount of troops you need to retreat. That's not the amount of troops you need to win a war.
Well, and see, part of it, that was predictable.
I know.
Because you knew that the party was changing from Republican to Democrat, so you know what the Democrats were going to do, right?
Yep.
So regardless if it was Obama or Clinton, they probably still would have done the same thing.
That's right. And the Republicans...
They might have handled it a little bit differently, but...
Republicans only heard what they want to hear here. He basically got rid of McChrystal, who wanted to win the war, to put him in with Petraeus, who wants to be president of the United States.
But you imagine, Obama's on the same magazine cover.
Yeah,
that
it's
Petraeus,
the same people he condemned, but he was... I heard...
Oh, did they change Mount Rushmore? They were talking about doing that.
I don't know. Did they put Obama's face on it? No, that Mount Rushmore still. But okay, as in the great failure with Bill Clinton when they were talking about putting Clinton's face on Mount Rushmore, the campaign to put Obama's face on Rushmore is now done. But they're going to put his face on a dollar bill, though. That's going to be his legacy.
Oh.
He's going to remove George Washington, who was a slave owner and racist.
Well, didn't he say he wasn't like the other people that were on the dollar bills?
Yeah, and the plan is, even the Republicans are stopping it. The plan is basically to replace all those white guys with heroes, minority heroes in our nation's past.
I don't see my relatives being on there.
I don't see any of my relatives. My mother, before she passed away, would have loved to have seen, American Indian on a bill.
Wasn't there a teepee on one of them?
I don't see him. Oh yeah, because one of my relatives is Rutherford B. Hayes. He married an Indian. And guess when the teepee went on, folks?
Oh, after?
Yeah. His wife was an Indian. Okay, basically like the table of contents was a plan to create jobs, fund to end economic uncertainty, make America more competitive, a plan to...
Is there really a plan in those things?
No. No, there's a lot of, basically it's 48 pages long, 27 pages are 21 pages are pictures. I mean, anybody out there know who John Bonyard is? No, it's when when Obama made the attack on him, the people, who the hell is the guy he's attacking? We don't know. Well, and then they said, well, he's the guy that spends $500 a month to go under a suntan, $500 hairstyles, and they said, which one of the Democrats or Republicans is that person? Because they all do it.
Because what, a plan to create jobs and economic uncertainty and make America more competitive. So what they have for that, they talk about how joblessness is the single most important challenge.
We have a plan, but they don't tell you, that top-down, one-size-fits-all. But I tell you, this is what people are pissed at this thing.
What we're up against, where are the jobs? I mean, see, we're sitting there scanning through this. Permanently stop all job-killing tax hikes. Well, actually,
yeah, but they can't. The job-killing tax hikes are built into the health care bill.
Repeal job-killing small business mandates. Give small business a tax deduction.
Republicans helped pass that bill. Guess which ones?
I do like this. We allow small business owners to take a tax deduction equal to 20% of their business income.
Democrats will tell you that none of this ever works.
Well, part of it is if they just repeal the things that they've just added, that would help.
If they could get Congress to go, okay, we're going to try something very simple.
Oh, that was all it was for the
I told you,
business.
They don't.
A plan to stop, see, that was the whole thing, a plan to stop out of control spending and reduce the size
But there's no plans.
Let's see, what we're up against. Okay, so we talked about that. Our plan to act immediately to reduce spending. Ooh. Cut the congressional budget. Ooh.
Okay, we're trying. They're coming back to spend $1.7 trillion in after November, between the thing.
Yeah, but isn't that the Democrats cut government spending to pre-stimulus, pre-bailout levels? I mean,
Yeah.
these are all like highlighted talking points. Hold weekly votes on spending.
In TARP once and for all. TARP is broke almost. So
Establish a hard cap on new discretionary spending. End TARP.
okay.
And government control of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Well, even the Democrats want to get Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac going. Some of these things there's consensus on, but it doesn't make any difference because the President of the United States has so flat out, as of today, that I'm not going to let those people destroy our nation, and I will veto any piece of legislation. He's in his mad mode. I will veto any piece of legislation they send to me that hurts the middle class of this nation. He got mad this morning, folks.
Oh.
But he gets mad too. I mean, they sit there and work with you. You know, he's got this, acting coach. And the acting coach says you got to hit that thing. You
got to hit the table at the
But
same time.
he said, don't take your shoe off because then they'll really think you're a socialist.
So, see, part of it was, those were the highlights of it.
Yeah.
So part of it, it's like the bullet point. You know what this reminds you of? It's like a book report. This is like, you make your case, you tell them what you're going to tell them, you give them the points, and you told them what you just told them.
It's Republican talking points,
just like,
but it is nothing. Repeal and replace, they already know you can't repeal and you can throw the whole bloody health care bill out and start over again, but it won't happen because Obama has said no.
Let's see, repeal the health care takeover, expand health savings accounts.
That's not going to happen.
Enact medical liability reform. Now that,
that won't happen either for the simple reason the Democrats control. The Democrats, the trial lawyers belong to the Democrats.
I know.
And they pick up a lot of their money on litigation. Yeah.
Now actually, controlling that actually would probably help because that's one of the reasons the doctors' insurance costs are so high.
Because they're conducting 4 times as many tests as necessary, plus they have to consult with other doctors before anything is done.
I like to strengthen the doctor-patient relationship by repealing President Obama's government takeover of healthcare. So what are they going to do to strengthen it? Oh, common sense reforms focused on strengthening the doctor-patient relationship.
But they don't tell you how to do it.
I mean,
okay,
yeah.
First of all, I will tell you, the Republicans and Democrats both think that the doctor-patient relationship shouldn't be damaged. They also think that there should be catastrophic care for children, that they shouldn't be off. But they also think that insurance should be portable.
That makes sense.
There are things that they could basically, I heard the thing. They said if Edward Kennedy had not died, Edward Kennedy could have got a bill through that both sides would have agreed on.
Yeah, the portable health insurance makes sense.
He knew how to deal with the other guys, and Obama was afraid of him. Obama knew.
Was he really?
Obama knew the power.
Was that why he took the dog?
That's why he took the dog, because the dogs probably had a little thing, a little embedded in there so you could keep track on the president. You don't see that dog around a lot anymore, do you?
Oh, that's true, huh?
Yeah, they bring him out for photo ops, but that's about it. But he would basically deal with the devil to get things done. I mean, him and John McCain had an immigration thing done, worked out, that neither party would go along with, but they worked out the immigration problem, the two Republican Democrats. Edward Kennedy was an SOB, really left-wing Democrat, but he would deal with the devil himself to get a piece of legislation done he thought was good for the country. Yeah. This was not all about promoting Edward Kennedy. It was not about promoting...
That's why it was in Congress for so long.
Yeah. But John Kennedy wasn't about making John Kennedy look good. Kennedy didn't care. It was about the people. The Kennedys... Okay, here's the thing. The Kennedys are pirates. Their money was made from basically looting ships, and they basically never stopped being pirates. Joseph Kennedy was a massive, basically he was a... Did
Prohibition help that family?
Yeah, it helped them a lot, but they're Irish. But they were so god-awful wealthy that they didn't need more money. Like their whole trick was, what will we do with it? We don't know what to do with what we got. It's why there's so many drunks and so many drug addicts and so many people in trouble in the Kennedy family. Is what happens, the younger people, the grandchildren never had to work for anything. I mean, Kennedy never worked a day in his life. His brothers did. His brother, Robert Kennedy, was a working lawyer.